Krishna, everyone. Welcome to ISKCON Silicon Valley Wednesday Bhagavad Gita class. Thank you for joining from different platform. So we'll start our presentation with a song from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's a beautiful song where it's a Sharanagati song where he is actually no, it's not actually Sharanagati song. It's the Shikshashtakama verse song. So Shikshashtakama verse are like there are 8 verses in Shikshashtakam. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote multiple songs on each of those verses. So this song is based on the 4th verse of Shikshashtakam, which is na dhanang na janang na sundaring kavitang bajagadis kamaye mama janma janmanishwari bhavatad bhaktir ahitukitvai. I don't want riches, opulence, beautiful wife, fame, anything. I just want unflinching devotional service unto your lotus feet in every lifetime, birth after birth. So this is the theme of this song, and he expands it. So he's saying, Prabhu tava pada juge mor nivedano nahi magi deho sukho vidya dhano jano. My supplication, my prayer unto your lotus feet, oh my Lord, that please, I don't want bodily comfort, knowledge, opulence, anything like that, fame, anything like that. Nahi magi swargo ar moksho nahi magi na kori prarthana kono vibhutiro lage. I don't want heavenly planets or higher planetary systems. I don't want any impersonal liberation. I don't even pray for any opulence, vibhuti, opulence, or special siddhi, mystic power. নিজ কর্ম গুণ দোষে যে যে জন্ম পায় জন্মে জন্মে যেন তব নাম গুণ গায়. Even if I like whatever birth I get because of my own actions, my own karma, I don't bother about that. My only prayer that I get devotional service, I get a chance to glorify you in every birth I get. এই মাত্র আসো মম তোমার চরণে অহৈত কি ভক্তি হৃদে জাগে অনুক্ষণে. This is my only wish, that unflinching love at your lotus feet sprouts in my heart, in my heart gradually or every moment. বিষয়ে যে প্রীতি এবে আছে আমার সেই মাত্র মত প্রীতি হোক চরণে তোমার. Whatever inclination I have for the material enjoyment, same kind of inclination I may have unto your lotus feet. বিপদে সম্পদে তাহা থাকুক সমভাবে দিনে দিনে বৃদ্ধি হোক নামেরও প্রভাবে. Whether I am in good phase of life or bad phase of life, I don't deviate from devotional service, and gradually it may increase because of chanting the holy name or because of the influence of holy name. পশু পক্ষী হয়ে থাকি স্বর্গে বা নিরয়ে তব ভক্তি রহি ভক্তি বিনোদ হৃদয়. Whatever birth I take, be it in the body of an animal or bird, or I stay in heavenly planet or earthly planet, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying that I may have devotion unto you in my heart in all the situations. Yeah, so that is the mode of a devotee. They don't want actually any kind of they don't have any desire, because there are 4 types of anarthas in terms of desire, like bhukti spriha, mukti spriha, and siddhi spriha. Bhukti spriha means like you have desire to enjoy material world or heavenly planets. Both are bhukti spriha. Mukti spriya means you have desire for liberation, to get rid of birth, old age, and death and disease, but not connected to the Supreme Lord. And siddhi spriya means you want some material opulence, vibhuti, some kind of siddhi by which you can do very mystical activities or magical activities. So we'll try to sing. That is a big Gaura Chandrika, like big introduction. I will just use my voice. প্রভু তব পদ যোগে মোর নিবেদন, প্রভু তব পদ যোগে মোর নিবেদন, নাহি মাগি দেহ সুখ বিদ্যা ধন জন, নাহি মাগি দেহ সুখ বিদ্যা ধন জন, প্রভু তব পদ যুগে মোর নিবেদন নাহি মাগি স্বর্গ আর মোক্ষ নাহি মাগে নাহি মাগি স্বর্গ আর মোক্ষ নাহি মাগি না করি প্রার্থনা কোনো বিভূতির লাগে না করি প্রার্থনা কোনো বিভূতির লাগি প্রভু তব পদ যুগে মোর নিবেদন নিজ কর্ম গুণ দোষে যে যে জন্ম পায় নিজ কর্ম গুণ দোষে যে যে জন্ম পায় জন্মে জন্মে যেন তব নাম গুণ গায় জন্মে জন্মে যেন তব নাম গুণ গায় প্রভু তব পদ যুগে মোর নিবেদন এই মাত্র আস মম তোমার চরণে মাত্র আশা মম তোমার চরণে হয়তো কি ভক্তি হৃদয়ে জাগে অনুক্ষণে হয়তো কি ভক্তি হৃদয়ে জাগে অনুক্ষণে প্রভু তব পদ যুগে মোর নিবেদন বিষয়ে যে প্রীতি এবে আছো আমার বিষয়ে যে প্রীতি এবে আমার সেই মতো প্রীতি হোক চরণে তোমার সেই মতো প্রীতি হোক চরণে তোমার প্রভু তব পদ যুগে মোর নিবেদন বিপদে সম্পদে তাহা থাকুক সমভাবে বিপদে সম্পদে তাহা থাকুক সমভাবে দিনে দিনে বৃদ্ধি হোক নামের প্রভাবে দিনে দিনে বৃদ্ধি হোক নামের প্রভাবে প্রভু তব পদ যুগে মোর নিবেদন পশু পক্ষী হয়ে থাকি স্বর্গে বাণী রয়ে পশু পক্ষী হয়ে থাকি স্বর্গে বাণী রয়ে তব ভক্তি রহু ভক্তি বিনোদ হৃদয়ে তব ভক্তি রহু ভক্তি বিনোদ হৃদয়ে প্রভু তব পদ যুগে মোর নিবেদন নাহি মাগি দেহ সুখ বেদধন জন হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম রাম হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম রাম হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we will be reading actually today Canto 10, chapter 20, whole chapter, only the verses, because I think these will be more interactive in that way. So Mataji, if you can actually put on Canto 10, chapter, as Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 20, and advanced mode only the verses and the translation, because we can have some discussion in between. But
sorry, Prabhuji, 10th canto,
chapter 20. Welcome everyone. So I want everyone to actually read today. I hope that you will be able to read. I see Mayank Prabhu is okay. He also can read because he has mic. Great, Hare Krishna. So let me start with the Mangalacharan Prabhu. By the time Mataji opens the page or chat in the computer. Om Ajnana Timira Andhasya Ajnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sayang Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Mandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathannitam Tam Sajivam Sadhaitang Savadutang Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Nitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwanu Shute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarabhyascha Kipa Sindhu Vayevacha Patitanang Pavanebhya Vaishnaveva Nama Nama Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukang Karati Bacha Lang Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Pipatta Mahambande Shri Guru Dino Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Navam Navam Tadeva Shaswan Manasa Mahatsavam Tadeva Shokarnava Shoshunam Nrinam Yaduttam Shloka Jasho Nugiyate Avishrita Krishna Padaravindayarshnitya Avadrani Chashantanoti Satyasya Suddhing Paramatma Bhakting Jnanam Cha Vijnana Viragayoktam Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So in the Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 12th chapter, verse number 50, it speaks, Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Nabam Nabam Tadeva Shaswan Manasa Mahatsavam Tadeva Shokarnava Shoshunam Nirnam Yaduttama Shloko Jashonagiyate. Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, or any of his incarnations, pastimes are ever green, ever relishable, ever festive. Means like when you discuss about them, you feel jubilation, you feel festive mood, you feel ultimate bliss. So they can never be actually old. Even 5,000 years ago, the pastimes of Lord Krishna happened. 500 years ago, we see Lord Chaitanya's pastimes happen. Lord Rama's pastimes happened many yugas ago in Treta Yuga. So still, when we actually hear them, we read them, we discuss about them, we don't feel tired. It's not like chanting mango or water. Chanting the name of Lord, his glories, they are all ever refreshing. You will feel more interested when you hear from the pure devotees these pastimes. And you will feel like the jubilation, the festive mood. And it will take away all kind of sufferings we have in this material world, because this material world is a place of sufferings. If somebody thinks, oh, it's a place of enjoyment, he doesn't have any understanding what actually pleasure is. So it's like, misnomer that it's a place of happiness or we can enjoy here. So that's why all the sufferings can go away immediately when you hear the glories of the Lord or you discuss about that. Shok Aranava means like the ocean of miseries. Shoshanam, it will destroy, it will suck all the miseries. Yad Uttama Shloko Jashanigate, whenever you sing the glories of the Supreme Lord, who is praised with Uttama Shloka, the best of the poetries. So this is the verse I actually chanted during the Mangalacharana prayer. Now we'll discuss about the place where Lord resides. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, resides in the spiritual world known as Goloka Vrindavan. And this Goloka Vrindavan are expanded into different spiritual planets also. Like first it expands to Mathura and then Dwaraka, and then the other spiritual planets where Lord's different portions and plenary portions are also there, like Ayodhya, then different type of Vaikuntha planets. These are all spiritual planets. However, the core of these and the topmost is Goloka Vrindavan. Now, the Vrindavan we see in India, currently, and we always aspire to visit there. Yeah, in this pandemic situation, maybe it's not so easy. But that Vrindavan is a replica of the spiritual Vrindavan. But do you see that Vrindavan in that way? At least I don't see it. When I go there, I see like, anyways. So our Shiksha Guru, all of our Guru, His Grace Vaisheshika Maharaj was telling that this Vrindavan is kind of an embassy. When you go to a country like in India, there is American embassy, there is Chinese embassy, there is different countries' embassy is located there, right? And when you go into that particular embassy, the rules and regulations of that embassy is exactly aligned with the rules and regulation of that particular embassy, particular country which the embassy belongs to, not the country where it is located. It doesn't actually follow the rules and regulations or culture of India. Rather, it will follow exactly what they do in US. So he was mentioning that when you enter there, you will find all different types of mineral waters which are available in US. All different types of drinks, juices, everything which you find here, you will find there as well. So you don't find the differentiation. So this Vrindavan Dham, this Bhauma Vrindavan Dham, we see in our eyes, or actually we don't see, but whatever we see, that's an exact embassy or representation of the spiritual world. So those devotees whose eyes are anointed with pure love of Godhead, they can see the opulence of Vrindavan. But a conditioned soul actually cannot see. Like me, we will find faults. What is actually fault in Vrindavan? Like we'll see all the dirts, we'll see all the monkeys, we'll see all the misbehavior from the Dhamvasis. Those things we will be noticing. But actually, those who are pure devotees, who are very advanced, they don't want to actually they always reside in Vrindavan because they captured Krishna in their heart, and Krishna always resides in Vrindavan, right? Vrindavanam Parityajam Ekapadam na gacchati. Krishna never lives in Vrindavan. Even we see apparently Krishna is living in Vrindavan, going to Mathura, Dwaraka, but actually not. That's not what our Acharya says. Anyway, so now we'll see some opulences of Vrindavan. Especially this is the time. This is actually in India, in South Asian countries. This is known as autumn. Autumn is like Sharat. So the season of Sharat. Here there are only 4 seasons. Actually, even though officially there are 4 seasons like spring, summer, fall, and winter, but actually you will see only 2 seasons, mainly summer and winter. Especially in California, maybe in Florida or in other places, maybe it's a little different. But here, at least, you don't see that much fall colors. Also, there not much transition. But in India, the seasons are divided into 6 categories. Right, the first is like spring, then summer, then rainy season, then autumn, then pre-winter, and then winter. Right, these are the 6 seasons. I think it's spring, summer, rainy season, autumn, pre-winter, and winter. Pre-winter means like Hemanta. In Sanskrit it's called Hemanta Kal, Hemanta, season of Hemanta. So here Actually, in Vrindavan, these descriptions are given just before the rasa pastimes or the intimate pastimes of Lord Krishna manifested in Vrindavan. So it's giving a glimpse how beautiful Sri Vrindavan Dham is. Actually, many of the pastimes of Lord Krishna, this is already explained how beautiful it is. Like when Krishna was taking, his Pulina Bhojana, like, forest picnic with his friends. There also it explained how beautiful that location where he was actually having the lunch with his friends. Also, the places where he grazed his cows, how beautiful they are. Even the killing of the demons, the places were also explained in those pastimes also. But this chapter exclusively describes about the natural beauty of the Vrindavan in different seasons, especially these two seasons, rainy season and autumn. The interesting part is it doesn't actually just poetically represent it. Because if that is the case only, that you are just using word jugglery to present something, but it doesn't have the depth, then Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be considered as the topmost literature. We know that Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost literature, so it has all aspect of it, like the beautiful poetry, the best of the speaker, the best of the philosophy, and the depth. Like you can expand one verse into infinity. You can actually keep speaking about one verse for hours. Still, you will feel like, oh, I have not done a good, service. Like our acharyas, like His Divine Grace Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he explained the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam for 30 days, every day 6 hours. Still, it did not actually, it may not have completed, completely. So that's how these verses get expanded. So we'll see, even though these verses are just describing natural beauties, but how they are connected to the philosophy, core philosophy of bhakti, devotional service, we'll see that. So again, I have given a huge introduction, but let's start. So I will read the, actually, who are there? I think Benugita Mataji is there. Ashray Madhava Purvu is there. Okay. So Benugita Mataji, you want to start with the verse number, text number, maybe 1 to 5. Text, like you can read also Sanskrit if you're comfortable, but not mandatory. But at least translation. But if you're comfortable, you can read Sanskrit also. That's also welcome. Yeah.
Sure, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Samambhunam, Chapter 20, the rainy season and autumn in Vrindavana. To enhance the description of Lord Krishna's pastime, Sri Sukadeva Goswami describes in this chapter the beauty of Vrindavana during autumn and the rainy season. In the course of his presentation, he gives various charming instructions in metaphorical terms. Text 1. Shri Sukho Vacha Divastat Adbhutam Karmam Davagnir Moksham Atmanah Gopah Shri Bhuyah Samat Chakshuyah Pralambam Vadam Evacha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sukadeva Goswami said to the ladies of Vrindavana, the cowherd boys then related in full detail Krishna's and Balaram's wonderful activities of delivering them from the forest fire and killing the demon Pralamba. Text 2. Gopavridascha gopyascha tad upakarniha vishmitaha minire deva prabhavau Krishna Ramau vrajam gatau. The elder cowherd men and ladies were amazed to hear this account, and they concluded that Krishna and Balaram must be exalted demigods who had appeared in Vrindavana. Text 3. Tatha pravartat pravarti sarva sattva samudva vidyo atmanaha paridrihi vishpritajitah nabhastala. Then the rainy season began, giving life and substance to all living beings. The sky began to rumble with thunder and lightning flashed on the horizon. Text 4. Sadranila yumbudvayom satvidhot sadvidyo satyatanu nabhu upashya jyotishihi achanam brahmeva sa gunam babahu. The sky was then covered by dense blue cloud, accompanied by lightning and thunder. Thus, the sky and its natural illumination were covered in the same way that the spirit soul is covered by the three modes of material nature. Ashtau masanniptam yad bhumeshchod bhumeshchodamayam vasu swagabhir muktam arebhyah prajneha kala agate. With its rays, the sun had 8 months drunk up. I'll repeat. With its rays, the sun had for 8 months drunk up the earth's wealth in the form of water. Now that the proper time had arrived, the sun began releasing this accumulated wealth. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, can you go to the verse number 4? Because there are a few verses which Prabhupada gave very nice. Prabhupada's servants gave very nice purports based on Prabhupada's and other acharyas, teachings. So this one, it says that the sky was then covered by dense blue clouds, accompanied by lightning and thunder, and it is metaphorically uh, presenting the material world. Material world is covered by three modes of material nature, right? That's the covering of the Mother Durga, the Mahamaya. So here, I think Prabhupada is giving in the purport in the Krishna book. Actually, he explained that blue clouds. Go ahead, Mataji. The lightning actually represents maybe verse number 4. So lightning represents the mood of goodness part of it, and the thunder actually, see that the first one is that it's first line. Lightning is compared to the mood of goodness, thunder to the mood of passion, and clouds to the mood of ignorance. How the cloudy sky at the onset of the rainy season is analogous to the pure spirit soul when he becomes disturbed by the modes of nature, for at that time he's covered and his original. You can see that when the good mood of goodness is prominent, you will be less influenced by the modes of material nature. You have better chance to actually transcend the three modes of material nature. That's why first we have to be situated in mood of goodness, and then we can transcend in pure goodness. So that's why the lightning is actually considered as the compared as the mode of goodness, thunder as the mode of passion. The sound, I don't know how, but definitely cloud is covering, so it is actually mode of ignorance. In the next verse, it is saying that sun is actually drinking of the water for 8 months. 8 months. Now it is said that sun is taking the water as a tax, like it's drying up the whole water bodies, and it's actually acting as a tax. Now when the time came to repay or flourish the nature, it's again giving back. And Prabhupada is in the Krishna book, he is explaining that this is like the kings, the government, they levy taxes, right? They impose taxes on the citizens, but they don't actually use those taxes for their own benefit. They rather use it for the benefit of the larger society. They create schools, hospitals, the protection of the citizens, like that. So that's how they distribute the opulences they gather through the taxes. So similarly, the sun is also doing in the same manner. So you see that he is describing very simple things, but through that simple things, he is actually expanding the religious, the spiritual philosophies. So that's the beauty of it. So now Mayank Prabhu, will you be able to read 6 to 10? Mayank Prabhu, are you there? Okay. Ruchi Gupta Mataji, can you read 6 to 10, please? Ruchi Mataji, are you there? Okay, I think she is also not there. Anyways, Asha Mata Prabhu, please.
Hare Prabhu, yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yadi dvanto mahameghas chandasvasana pritanam jivanam hi asya mumuchu karuna iva. Flashing with lightning, great clouds were shaken and swept about by fierce winds. Just like merciful persons, the clouds gave their lives for the pleasure of this world. Purport also?
No, purport no. Like verse number 7. Yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah.
तपः कृषा देवमिधा आशित वर्षीय श्रीमहि यथैव काम्य तपसस्तनु सम्प्राप्य तत्फलम्. The earth had been emaciated by the summer heat, but she became fully nourished again when moistened by the god of rain. Thus, the earth was like a person whose body has been emaciated by austerities undergone for a material purpose, but who again becomes fully nourished when he achieves the fruit of those austerities. निशमुखेषु खद्योतास्तमसा भान्ति न ग्रहा यथा पापेन पाषण्डा न हि वेदा कलौ युगे. In the evening twilight, during the rainy season, the darkness allowed the glowworms, but not the stars, to shine forth. Just as in the age of Kali, the predominance of sinful activities allows atheistic doctrines to overshadow the true knowledge of the Vedas. Interesting. श्रुत्वा परजन्यनिनदं मण्डूकाससृजुगिरः तूष्णीं शायना प्राग्यद्वत् Brahmana niyamataye. The frogs, who had all along been lying silent, suddenly began croaking when they heard the rumbling of the rain clouds. In the same way, the Brahmana students who perform their morning duties in silence begin reciting their lessons when called by their teacher. Asan utpata gamyinyah Shudranadyo anushushati Pumsho yatha swatantrasya dehadravina sampada. With the advent of the rainy season, the insignificant streams which had become dry began to swell and then strayed from their proper courses, like the body, property, and money of a man controlled by the urges of his senses.
Excellent. You read till 10, right?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. Let's Matri, go to the 6th verse, so you can just discuss a little bit of each verse. Because Prabhupada servants give nice purports based on Prabhupada's teachings. Yeah, so here it says like the 6th verse. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. So clouds are actually giving great clouds are giving fierce winds, lightning, and also pouring water. Just like the merciful persons, when they see someone is suffering, they protect them or give enough charity to subsist them. And in the purport, King Dasharatha's example is given that he was a very fierce Kshatriya and he fought against many people. He killed many enemies or many unrighteous people. However, he was also very charitable. He gave charity like an ocean to the people who took shelter of him or who are just people or who are Brahmanas. So this is the mood of people who are very generous. They don't they do their actions for the pleasure of the world, for the larger society, not for their own purpose. So go down, Mataji, and then the next verse, 7th verse. Yeah. So it is said that now a person body can be emaciated by like when summer heat is there, the nature gets dried up. But as soon as the rain pours upon them, upon the nature, then again it becomes fresh. It gets life. Similarly, when a person is performing austerity, he may get emaciated. However, as soon as the austere time is over, or he get in touch with material, comfort, he again regains his body, and he becomes again indulged in the sense gratification. So Prabhupada is telling this is like people who are doing austerity for material purpose. You see that people are doing austerities for material purpose, like Hiranyakashipu. He did huge austerity, 36,000 years of sadhana to kill Lord Vishnu or become the king of the 3 worlds. So this austerity is not the original austerity mentioned in Bhakti Yoga. The Bhakti Yoga austerity is everything is for Krishna, nothing is for me. Avishrita Krishna means like you don't forget about Krishna at any time. So that's why Prabhupada is telling the austerities are not meant for any material gain. If you are doing austerity, actually austerity is equivalent to devotional service. Austerity is not like is like something we should not do. We should be doing because that is the instruction of Srimad Bhagavatam throughout. Na arteha yasyaha karmevi. You have to perform austerities to satisfy the Supreme Lord. However, the austerities are not meant for material gain. That is the point. Like it's not that austerity itself is bad. Austerity is needed because getting up early in the morning, chanting 16 rounds, it's an austerity, true to say, yes, especially for me. However, I have to do it because I have taken that vow, or those who are practicing devotional service, that austerities you have to perform because by that you will be purified. Nayam deho deho bhajam kastan kaman arhate vedubujamiye tapo divyam putruka yena satyam sudhyati yasmad brahma sukhyata anantam. King Rishabha, Bhagavan Rishabdev was telling to his sons that this body, human body, is not meant for enjoyment, which is available for even the stool eating Vidbaraha, means like stool eating boar, hawks, and dogs. They also enjoy the same way, Ahar Nidra Vaya Maithun. But rather, this human body is meant for doing tapasya, austerities, because through austerity you can have the Brahman realization. Like you are not this body, and there is a supreme person, and you have a relation with him. This is the Brahman realization. So that austerity is emphasized here. Now go to the next text, Mataji. Yeah. In the evening, okay, glow arms. So Prabhupada is in the puppet, he's beautifully actually telling that glow arms may seem they are glittering, they are giving you light. However, their light is not enough to give you path. So these mental speculators, these mystic yogis, these very knowledgeable people, they may pretend they can actually deliver you, but they don't have that potency to do that. Only the big acharyas, a Mohanta Guru, who is under the protection of Supreme Personality of Godhead and coming in the line of a authorized disciplic succession, he only can give you the mercy to. And they are like luminaries. They are like moon or sun. They can actually give enough light to show the path, the right path, which is not possible for a glow orb. Okay, what is the next, Mataji? Please go to the next one. This is nice, actually. As soon as the rain started, the frogs, they started quacking. Quack, 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 quack. So the brahmacharis, they are actually going through a very strong regimen. Every day they have to get up early in the morning. However, when they are staying in the Guru ashrama, there is ghanta bell, like they ring the bell like, oh, now it is time to get up, because I think most of the places in maybe 30-40 years back also we didn't have alarm clock. So the bell used to be rung and they used to get up. So this bell ringing is just like the call from a spiritual master. So the spiritual master give you the right calling that, oh, you have to take different spiritual science very sincerely, and this is the path, this is the way to do it, this is the rules and regulations to follow. Just like in last Sunday we had a huge initiation ceremony in the temple, and actually I love the initiation ceremonies because it make me think about my vows and reconfirms my vows. I really appreciate when devotees actually with full surrendering mood, they come to their spiritual master and take those vows in front of the deities and the spiritual master and the assembled devotees. It's very, very encouraging for me personally. So they are guided by the predecessor acharyas, the present acharyas, that this is the way. You're ringing the bell that, okay, you have to follow this. So they are alert, the spiritual masters are alert, and they're making the disciples also alert to follow the correct path to get the perfection in this human life. Let's go to the verse number 10, Mataji. So this rainy season, the different types of streams, small streams, they get dried during the summer season. But as soon as the rain drops or rainy season appears and it starts raining, they get a little bit of water. But these small streams, they again will get dried up after some time. So this material enjoyment is like that. The human bodies, if we are aspiring to do material enjoyment, we may think, oh, this is my goal. This is my goal to get some material enjoyment. But after some time, we'll not be completely satiated. It will never like satiate our soul. So what will happen? We may get actually a drop of water in a desert, but that will never satiate our thirst. The devotees who are in relation with the Lord, for them, this whole world is a place of bliss. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate Vidi Mahendra Adishtakitayate. The people who got actually the special mercy of the Lord and his devotees, for them, this place is a place of enjoyment, but not for the people who are hankering for material, enjoyment. Not for them, because they are just getting a drop of enjoyment, maybe some perverted reflection, and that if they are considering that is the highest, enjoyment, they will get not much from it. So at this point, I actually can stop. And if you have any comment or anything, because if we have many verses, but whatever we can cover, we'll cover. But if you have anything to comment on, you can go ahead before we go to the next phase. Because I talk too much, so I don't know whether what I'm speaking is making sense.
Thank you, Prabhuji. This is really, really good. I really like the analogy where Prabhupada is comparing the Kali Yuga and the glowworm and the luminaries. It's so perfectly compared, even though the Bhagavatam was written so many years ago. And it has so perfectly done the comparison that yes, Kali Yuga people are all show off, flowery languages, they talk, but in real sense, those people who are dealing or trying to lead as an expert or the leader are not really the leaders.
Yeah.
So the sky is, but I'm really, really grateful that we have this Prabhupada's book and our gurus to guide us like the real luminary to show us the path. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, pretenders. This material world is full of pretenders. Yeah. So it's that's why it is said in Chaitanya Chaitamrita, right? Brahmanda Bhamite Kono Bhagwan Shiv Guru Krishna. It's impossible to find, actually, almost impossible to find a Mohanta Guru who can actually give you right path, or who can introduce you in devotional service. So we are really fortunate that we come in touch with Srila Prabhupada's movement and are guided by the pure devotees who are trained by him personally or who are following him very sincerely, Srila Prabhupada. Meera Mataji raised her hand. Mataji wanted to say something.
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, it's very encouraging for me that you are saying how encouraging it is for you to get up in the morning and say the 16 rounds of Hare Krishna. Even though I haven't taken the Diksha, that's what is kind of stopping me, because I do 16 rounds, but not necessarily every day. So, but when I saw everybody getting Diksha last Sunday, it was actually very elevating, very, very inspiring. And it was like, oh, I want to be there and I want to get it too. So hearing you say that it's very encouraging for you to see other devotees is making a big difference for me also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Actually, this is what we need in progressing in devotional service. Like Srila Ramananda Rai was explaining to Lord Chaitanya. Means like Lord Chaitanya was speaking through Ramananda Rai. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Moti Kriyatang Yati Kutohopi Labhyate Tatram Lollam Api Mullam Ekalam Janma Pati Sukitinana Labhate. If you find Krishna Bhakti anywhere, please buy it immediately. And you need to pay only price, which is greed to get it. If you have greed to get it, somehow or other Krishna will arrange you, and introduce you to the perfect person. This is because he is residing in your heart as a super soul. He knows what is your hankering. So he'll definitely introduce you. And as soon as you get in touch with that person or that process, please sincerely invest yourself. You will get the result very soon because you have that greed. Yeah. Jai Mataji. Yeah, thank you, Mataji,
Thank
for
you.
sharing that realization.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yeah. Anyone else has anything to share?
Hare Krishna, Kolodwip.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna,
I was
Mataji.
finding a pattern in these descriptions of these verses. These great souls, unlike person like me, when they go to a wonderful place and looking at the scenery, they get carried away by the beauty of the scenery and forget all the pains of the life and even the things they are supposed to do, their duties. Here, with all this beauty of the nature, these great souls are reminding us that we should not forget the duty of austerity. We should not forget the duty of being merciful to others. So they are. That is how the great souls are. They never lose their compass. And even if the situation is very beautiful, they know their duty, what they are supposed to do. It's a very nice comparison he's making. To those analogy, they are giving sort of instructions that don't forget your duty, don't forget the austerity you have to do for Krishna. Even though the environment and everything is very beautiful.
Excellent point. Excellent point, bro. Actually, yeah, it makes complete sense. Especially, how he is connecting with the core philosophy. You see that it started with 3 modes of material nature. Now he is going to the taking shelter of his spiritual master. First and then he explained the suffering of the material world. Now he is going to the spiritual master, taking shelter of the spiritual master. Now he will go into the austerity part of it also. So it's very nice flow is also there. He's explaining apparently he's explaining the material nature or beauty of Vrindavana. Actually, Vrindavana is not a material place. However, it's like apparently nature he's explaining. But through that, he is actually introducing this, very nice core philosophies of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Actually, he's telling us if we go to Vrindavan with this mood, then we will be able to see the real Vrindavan. Otherwise, you will see only the external things.
Correct. Yeah, that's another good observation. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. So, Meera Mataji, will you be able to read next 11 to 16, 15 verse? If you are uncomfortable with Sanskrit, we can skip Sanskrit. Just read the translation. Is she there? Anybody is there to read, like other than Ashramada Prabhu and Venugita Mataji?
I can read, Prabhuji. This is Ruchi here.
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Bol.
Yeah, please go ahead, Mataji. 11 to 15. Yeah.
Okay.
Words and translation.
Harita Haribhi Saspe Indra Gope Cha Lohita Uchilindra Krita Chaha Narnam Sri Eva Bhu Abhut. The newly grown grass made the earth emerald green, and the Indragopa insects added a reddish hue, and Srila Sridhara Swami comments that the word Narnam indicates men of the royal order. Thus, the colorful display of dark green fields decorated with bright red insects and white mushroom umbrellas can be compared to a royal parade displaying the military strength of a king. You want me to read the next one too?
Yeah, Mother, just read verse and translation because the purport will be good. Yeah.
Okay. Kristhani Sasya Sampadhabhi Karsa Kanam Mudam Dadu Mani Nam Anutapam Vai Deva Adivnam Ajanatam. I think it's Agyanatam. With their wealth of grains, the fields gave joy to the farmers, but those fields created remorse in the hearts of those who were too proud to engage in farming and who failed to understand how everything is under the control of the Supreme. Jalasthala Okasas sarva navavari nisevaya abhibhran ruchiram rupam yatha hari nisevaya. As all creatures of the land and water took advantage of
Okay, I will read.
newly fallen rainwater, their forms became attractive and pleasant.
Translation.
Just as a devotee becomes beautiful by engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord. Haribol.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, I think there is a lag in your Zoom. Meera Mataji. Some lag is there. Right? I asked her to actually read it a while back.
Yeah, looks like it's the streaming is blocked and then it all of a sudden came in.
Yeah. So Mataji, maybe you can actually re-log in. It seems like something is wrong over there. I don't know actually. Okay, Mataji, go ahead. Ruchi Mataji, you can read the next two verses also till 15.
Okay. Sarid bhi sangata sindhu sukh sobha swasana urmi man apakva yogina chitam kama aktam guna yug yatha. When the rivers joined the ocean, it became agitated, its waves blown about by the wind, just as the mind of an immature yogi becomes agitated, because he is still tainted by lust and attached to the objects of sense gratification. Girayo varsa dharabhir, hanya mana na vivyatho, abhi bhuya mana vyasaner, yatha doksaja setasa. Just as the devotees whose minds are absorbed in the personality of Godhead remain peaceful even when attacked by all sorts of dangers, the mountains in the rainy season were not at all disturbed by the repeated striking of the rain-bearing clouds.
Great. Thank you, Mataji. Let's go to the verse number maybe from 12. Thank you, Mataji. Because 11, I think already Mataji read the purport and it doesn't have like two. Yeah, it's just like it looked like a army of a king, military strength of a king. But this verse is very nice. It says that the farmers, they got actually wealth of grains because of rain, because rain is necessary for any cultivation, right? In California, we see that very often, that how we are inflicted upon with this what is this, like drought. Yeah, drought, sorry. So drought, yeah. So here it says that the farmers are very happy to see the rains, so they become proud. Even also Prabhupada was mentioning in the purport that actually this is very natural, that farming should be the core of the services in a society. However, in the modern days, it's not. The artificial necessities are created, and people are even throwing grains to the oceans, also wasting so much time, so much things. However, sometimes farmers become very proud because they are the owner or they produced it, but they forget that actually things are coming from Krishna's grace, right? The rains are coming as Krishna's grace. Annat bhavanti bhutani, bhutani anna sambhava, jagya bhavanti no, pajjanna anna sambhava, annat bhavanti bhutani, pajjanna anna sambhava, jagga bhavati pajjanna, jagga karma samudbhava. Yeah, something like that. That cycle, right? That grain is produced by human, and then human consume. Grains are produced because of the rain. What is this cycle? Annat bhavanti bhut. Okay, people are subsisted with grain, and the grains are produced out of rain, and then rains are produced out of sacrifice, and sacrifice is actually done by the human beings. This is the cycle. Actually, this is the cycle. So they forget that everything is coming from Krishna, because if that rain is not there, Krishna is the ultimate controller of the rain, even though apparently Indra Dev, but Indra's boss is also Krishna. So they forget it. Similarly, the sophisticated scientists, the materialist people who are very opulent in knowledge, science and things, they completely forget where the source of this knowledge is coming from, where the source of their opulences are, and they become very proud, and they create an imbalanced society. So that's why too proud in farming, or farming, you can say that any kind of creation, any kind of ownership, you become very proud of. Mataji, go to the next verse, please. Okay, so this one, and all creatures, land and water took advantage of newly fallen rain, their forms become attract. Okay, yeah, Prabhupada is telling actually a beautiful thing, that when the rainwater of devotional service touches touches a person, he becomes immediately cleansed, and gradually his lusters become very bright. Prabhupada is telling, like, when the devotees took devotional service, they wear, the saffron cloth, or devotional cloth, and put tilaka. They were looking like beautiful Vaikuntha personalities. Yeah, actually, yeah, I think the last night, when they are dressed with saffron colored cloth, with tilaka on their foreheads and beads on their hands and on their necks, they look exactly as if they have come directly from Vaikuntha. So this is a speciality, like the rainwater is freshening up everything. Similarly, devotional service, sincere devotional service, is freshening up from inside. Even though we are doing so much apparently austerity, but actually that is making us more, beautiful, lusterful. That's why in our movement also you see many devotees, they are very senior, they are very old. Means like in terms of age, they are ever youth. But you will feel their association is so nourishing. Usually, and young person, they don't want to hang up with a very senior person. Usually, when in some cases maybe somebody is very opulent and very qualified, that's a different thing. But for devotees, if a devotee is very veteran, you want to actually hang up with him, because he doesn't have only knowledge, he has also wisdom in devotional service, and that will be more effective for your devotional growth. And that's why sincere people want to spend time with senior devotees. And they also experience, they have a special luster, they have a special effulgence, which is coming from their sincere sadhana. Mataji, go to the 14th verse translation. I want to take a look here. When the rivers join the ocean, became the well become more just the mind immature inside, because he is still tender. Yes. So those, Bhavashayatmika buddhi rekehi kurunandana vohishakahi anantascha buddhi avavai shainam. Those whose determination in the yoga process is to not satisfy Krishna or serve Krishna, their goal may be to get some material opulence, like Shobhari Muni, right? He got material opulence. Even Kardama Muni also got, but he worshipped Lord Krishna. That's why, through that material opulence also, he was not driven away from devotional path. But these yogis, their main motivation is not to please Krishna. That's why they are not completely pure. Even though a devotee can be, in any of the ashrams, brahmachari, grihastha, vanapastha, sannyas, but their goal is to only satisfy Krishna, not anything for their own sense gratification. No, go to the verse number 15, Mataji, please. Whose minds of the person okay. So this is the Tatyanu Kampam Susumikshamano Bhunyante Evatma Kitam Vipakam Ridvaga Vapur Vidhanamaste Iveta Mukti Yo Pades Iveta Yo Mukti Pades Avdaivat. The devotees, even though they experience a lot of turbulence, calamities in this material world, they don't deviate from that path. They stand still, and that test actually purifies them. Just like mountains get purified when the water falls upon them, but they don't leave from their place. And actually, apparently, there is no change of the mountains outwardly. Maybe some green lashes come out, but actually they stand still in the same way. Similarly, the devotees also in their path of devotional service, they don't deviate, even though there can be a lot of upheaval in the life. Okay, so that's it. So, Meera Mataji, now can you try to read now? Are you available to read verse number 16?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can read. Yes. I'll read the translation. During the rainy season, the roads not being cleansed became covered with grass and debris and were thus difficult to make out. The roads were like religious scriptures that Brahmanas no longer study, and that thus became corrupted and covered over with the passage of time. Though the clouds are the well-wishing friends of all living beings, the lightning, fickle in its affinities, moved from one group of clouds to another, like lusty women, unfaithful even to the virtuous men. When the curved bow of Indra, the rainbow, appeared in the sky, which had the quality of thundering sound, it was unlike ordinary bows because it did not rest upon a string. Similarly, when the Supreme Lord appears in this world, which is the interaction of the material qualities, he is unlike ordinary persons because he remains free from all material qualities and independent of all material conditions. During the rainy season, the moon was prevented from appearing directly by the covering of the clouds, which were themselves illumined by the moon's rays. Similarly, the living being in the material existence is prevented from appearing directly by the covering of the false ego, which is itself illumined by the consciousness of the pure soul. The peacocks became festive and cried out a joyful greetings when they saw the clouds arrive, just as people distressed in household life feel pleasure when the pure devotees of the infallible Supreme Lord visit them.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
So let's
Krishna.
actually have some discussion. Thank you, Mataji. Maybe 16 onwards. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, stop here, Mataji. Yeah, so you see that. So sometimes, the roads not being cleansed become covered with grass and debris, and where it's difficult to make out. These roads were like religious scriptures that Brahmanas no longer study and thus become corrupted and covered. Yeah, it's like pretty like easy to understand that when there is no descendants of knowledge, or the knowledge is not coming from proper disciplic succession, you will feel different mundane interpretation of the knowledge. In Padma Purana, it is spoken that there are 4 authorized sampradaya, Vaishnava sampradaya in this Kali Yuga. One is that Sri Sampradaya, one is Brahma Sampradaya, one is Rudra Sampradaya, and another one is the 4 Kumara Sampradaya. They are actually mentioned in Padma Purana. So it is already authorized. But you see, many people are also playing with this Vaishnava philosophy. They are coming up with different interpretation. If you actually read their scriptures, you will get bewildered. You will like, I will give a personal example. Recently, I joined, means like just to see what they're doing. In our office, some corporate program started. They're discussing about, Bhagavad Gita. And they are giving some introduction to Bhagavad Gita. What are the characters in Bhagavad Gita? And in that introduction, they're saying that, okay, this Pandu is actually mind. These 5 Pandavas are like 5 senses. 5 elements of the nature. Kiti, Apotej, Marut, Bomb, like earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These 5 elements. So these different personalities are represented in different way. I cannot recall exactly all those details, but they were giving this kind of mantra interpretation, which are not coming in the proper parampara. It may be somebody's speculation. It's not coming from like any of the acharyas, like Vishnu Chakravarti Pad, or Baladev Vidyabhushan, or any of the acharyas in disciplines, or Ramanujacharya or Madhacharya ji. None of them have given interpretation like that of Bhagavad Gita. But people will come up with this kind of ideas. So they are corrupting the original message. And this is like, this debris, grass, who are actually covering the roads in the rainy season. Because in the previous time, there is no paved way kind of thing. It's like mostly, muddy roads. Yeah, go to the translation of 17 verse, Mataji. Though the clouds are the well-wishing friend of all in the lightning. Okay, yes. So the people, the virtuous people, what they do, they maintain the family very nicely. However, if they have an unfaithful wife, the life is actually doomed. Even though they have given a very good shot, very sincere try to have a happy life in the material world, but that will never be possible. It will be completely destroyed. So the clouds, the clouds are also by nature like that. Sometimes they give mercy to some actually, let's read that thing. I actually forgot. During the rainy season, lightning appears in one group of clouds and then immediately in another group of clouds. So it's fickle by nature. Like, some like women who are not satisfied with their husband, so they look for pleasure in other places. So this phenomenon is compared to a last woman who doesn't fix her mind in one. Okay, I think it's completely clear. So Mataji, go to the next verse, because we are not able to actually finish this thing. Yeah, this is interesting. This is telling that, even though it looks like this rainbow looks like a bow, but it's actually not a bow. It's actually a rainbow, which is an effect of rain. Similarly, the Lord, even though he appears like, he is also having a same body as like us, he also died like us, some Vyadha, Vyadha means like hunter. He actually killed him. He shot an arrow and it pierced his leg, and that's how Krishna died. And there was Antishti Kriya, the last rite of Krishna also happened. Oh, he's just like an ordinary person like us. But in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explicitly explained, and what Srila Prabhupada is explaining in this purport, I think Prabhupada's servants, or maybe Prabhupada's, is saying that Ajopi Sanya Abhyayatma Bhutanam Ishwaropisyan Prakritim Shamadhistvaya Sambhavam Atmamaya. I actually descend with my own internal potency. I am not subjugated to this material energy. And I am, even though unborn, I used to get, take birth to manifest my pastimes with my devotees and get people attracted to me. Ajopi Sanya Atma Bhutanam Ishwaropisyan. And I am the Lord, controller of the all living entities. Explicitly says. Still, people will doubt, and that is the nature of conditioned people. We will consider something as something different. Okay, go next verse translation, Mataji. Okay. Yeah. Yes, this is very, very, very powerful thing. Powerful thing. Actually, we cannot see the truth because we are illusioned by our false ego. False ego means aham mameti. Pungsha striyo mithino bhava metam tayo mitho hridaya granthi maho aho griha shetro shutapta vitter janasya mohoyam aham mameti. We, like, the first part of the verse says actually the human beings in male body and female body, they get attracted with each other, and then they start family, and then they get attracted with the family, the home, their children. It's not that bad they are attracted, but they feel that is their own. They are there. When like their identity is actually revolving around these objects. So when that happens, then we don't see our real self. Our real self is like, Jivera Swarupa hoy Krishna Nityodash. The ultimate identity of every living entity is the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So that gets covered. And the false ego also acts in different way, actually. We try to interpret the Shastra in our own way, and we cover the original knowledge. Prabhupada was also mentioning in the purport, if you ask someone what is absolute truth, they won't be able to answer. They will keep like here and there a lot of things, but they won't be giving any direct answer that Krishna, Ishvara Paramakrishna Sachidananda Vigraha, that they cannot say, because they don't have that understanding out of false ego. Yeah. So this is the cloud, and moon is like, that when moon appears, everything becomes clear. And you were themselves illumined by the moons, which illumined by the moon's rays. Okay, I don't think that is the point of the moon. Let me see what actually says about moon. Mataji, can you go to the last part of the purport? What purport says in the moon? This is compared to thinking of the luminous clouds, the lighting of the night sky, while in fact it is moonshine that illumines the sky. Okay. So actually, moonshine means like moon is actually Krishna, our original knowledge. So spiritual consciousness, which is fully enlightened and blissful. Okay, somebody can read actually these last 3 lines. This is comparable to thinking of luminous clouds. Or maybe I will read. This is comparable.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji. Ruchi
Sorry.
Mataji, please.
This is comparable to thinking that the luminous clouds are lighting up the night sky, while in fact it is the moonshine that illumines the sky, and the clouds that merely dull and hamper the moonshine. The clouds appear luminous because they are filtering and impeding the brilliant rays of the moon. Similarly, at times, material consciousness appears pleasurable or enlightened because it is screening or filtering the original blissful and enlightened consciousness coming directly from the soul. If we can understand the ingenious analogy given in this verse, we can easily advance in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Mataji. Actually, now it is clear. So sometimes we may feel like, okay, the sky means like we are getting some enjoyment of this material world, but actually the source of all enjoyment is coming from Krishna. Let me see that. What is the first thing? Material or false ego is often enthusiastic, hopeful, and apparently out of various material life. Let me read the first part also. In material life, our false ego is often enthusiastic, hopeful, and apparently aware of various material affairs. And such consciousness encourages us to push on in material existence. But in truth, we are merely experiencing the dull reflection of our original pure consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness, direct perception of the soul and God. Not realizing that the false ego merely hampers and dulls our real spiritual consciousness, which is fully enlightened and blissful. We mistakenly think that material consciousness is full of knowledge and happiness. Yeah, nice. So, original source of knowledge is source of light is moon, but sometimes sky is also looking bright. We see that, oh, sky is also bright, but we don't see that the source of the knowledge, source of the happiness. Similarly, the original source of happiness is actually Krishna consciousness or our dormant love for Krishna, but we don't see it. We see the reflection as real. Like, Urdhamula Adasakam, Ashwattam Prabhur Abbayam, Chandamsi Yasya Parnani, Yastam Vedasa Vedavid, right? It's an upside down tree, and we see the reflection as real. So that is the problem. Go to the next verse, Mataji, 20. How much time we have? Yeah, we're done. Okay, yeah, there's Prabhupada is giving a very nice example that devotees who were coming in Krishna consciousness, they become morose, they are unhappy previously, but as soon as they take pure devotional service or took pure devotional service, they started feeling jubilant. Yeah, that is the first characteristics of pure devotional service, right? Kleshagni Shubhoda, Moksha Loguta Kit, Sudurlabha, Sandranando, Visheshatma, Sri Krishna Akarshani, Chausa. Klesha Agni, all kinds of material sufferings will be extinguished. Shubhoda, and it's all auspiciousness. It will bring all auspiciousness. So that's why they are happy. They are jubilant like peacocks. Peacocks also start dancing when they hear the rumbling of the clouds. Now, Horrible Mataji is there, Horrible Prabhu. So will he or she be able to, Mataji or Prabhuji, you will be able to read Horrible? Hare Krishna? Then we can actually have a full cycle. Horrible Mataji? Is that Horrible Mataji? Anyways, okay, let me read then. Then we can actually complete, because at least rainy season we should complete, and then autumn season maybe some other time. Okay.
I can read Prabhuji if you want me to.
Okay, please go ahead, Rachi Mataji.
Pitva apa padapa padbhi asanana atma murtaya prak kasama tapasa sranta yatha kama anusevaya. The trees had grown thin and dry, but after they drank the newly fallen rainwater through their feet, their various bodily features blossomed. Similarly, one whose body has grown thin and weak from austerity again exhibits his healthy bodily features upon enjoying the material objects gained through that austerity. Sarahasu asanta rodhasu nyusu anga api sarasa graheshu asanta krityeshu gramya eva durasyaha. The cranes continued dwelling on the shores of the lakes, although the shores were agitated during the rainy season, just as materialistic persons with contaminated minds always remain at home despite the many disturbances there. Jala oghe nirabhidhyanta setavaha varsati ishvara pasandinam asat vade Veda Marga Kalau Yatha. When Indra sent forth his rains, the floodwaters broke through the irrigation dikes in the agricultural fields. Just as in the Kali Yuga, the atheist false theories break down the boundaries of Vedic injunctions. Vyamunchan Vayubhi Nuna Bhutebhya cha amritam gana yatha asisa vitpata kale kale dvija iritha. The clouds, impelled by the winds, released their nectarian water for the benefit of all living beings. just as kings, instructed by their Brahmana priests, dispense charity to the citizens. Evam vanam tat varsastham pakva kharjura jambu mat gopale vrata rantum sa bala pravisat hari. When the Vrindavan forest had thus become resplendent, filled with ripe dates and jambu fruits, Lord Krishna, surrounded by his cows and cowherd boyfriends and accompanied by Sri Balram, entered that forest to enjoy.
Beautiful, Mataji. Your Sanskrit pronunciation is very nice. So let's actually read a little bit. Yeah, maybe we, yeah. Yeah, it's very nice actually. This is saying that sometimes, or the trees, how they actually get nourished. Yatha tarur mula nishechana trippanti tadaskanda bhujopu shakha prana upaharasya yathendriyani tataiva sarva arhanam achyutejya. This is one of my favorite verses, by the way. So this says that when you actually put water in the root of a tree, it gets nourished. All the branches, twigs, everything gets nourished. Similarly, if you eat through your mouth, all the limbs of the body gets nourished. Similarly, when you actually worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Achyuta, Lord Vishnu, then all the demigods and all puja will be done automatically. Here, and a very nice example Prabhupada actually gave. Sometimes when people do austerity, they become very like thin or very very emancipate, right? So what happens, as soon as they get nourishment, they regain their body. So he was giving that the materialistic people are like that. They work very hard and they get like their body become thin, they get a lot of suffering through that austerity. However, as soon as they get a nice position, very quickly they regain their all like a lost body or like that. We saw in the pastimes of Hiranyakashipu also, by the blessings of Brahma, he immediately became very stout body. Similarly, the politicians, modern politicians, Prabhupada giving that example, they are also going through a lot of austerities during the election season. But again, as soon as they get power, they regain their all lost health or whatever they have lost, money or anything they do. Okay, they spend. Go to the next verse, Mataji, please. Yeah. Okay, now this is very nice verse. So in the materialistic people, they take hard labor for even material enjoyment. It's not easy. For material enjoyment, it's not easy to buy a nice house, to stay in a place. You have to do 9 to 5, like not everybody is like a billionaire's child. So most of the people are dwelling day and night. Even still, they are not able to, meet their daily needs. So these birds, that swans, cranes, they are also having some discomfort during the rainy season because the shores are actually swelling up. It becomes muddy, but still they roam around those places. They don't stop. Just like materialistic people, even though there are a lot of calamities, a lot of hindrances, they don't stop their endeavor. They just keep on doing it. They don't understand even what is the goal of life. Please go down, Mataji, next verse. Okay, so this is actually okay. Oh yeah, this is very nice. That Kali Yuga, the false theories are breaking the boundaries of Vedic injunctions. Because you will see everybody is coming up with a commentary on Srimad Bhagavad Gita in Kali Yuga. I think Amitabh Bachchan also wrote something on Bhagavad Gita recently. I don't know. I heard something like that. Anyways, so this is the Kali Yuga mentality that everybody is a spiritual master guru. Okay, the clouds impelled by the winds release their nectarian water for benefit of justice. Okay, so Brahmanas, they are the top, right, of the society. Mukhu bahu uru padebhya purushasya sramai saha chattara yogire varna gunor vipradaya pithak. The Brahmana, like Brahmanas are representing the face of the Lord, or mouth of the Lord. The Kshatriyas are hands. Then the thighs are Vaishyas. Thighs are lower abdomen. And the feet or legs are Shudras. So Brahmanas is sitting in the top. They should direct other communities, especially Kshatriyas. They should actually direct directly. Kshatriyas and Brahmanas are very complementary. Brahmana are like the think tank, like the minister kind of thing, and Kshatriyas are executors, the manager, management, administration. So Brahmanas, they instruct the rich people, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, to do the charity so that everybody gets benefit from the society. And that's how a Varnashrama system subsists. Prabhupada is mentioning here that Varnashrama system is guided by the Brahmanas. Under the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas and Shudras, they take the responsibility. Vaishyas and Kshatriyas and Shudras, they take the responsibility to help each other subsist. Shudras, they serve all the higher qualities, right? Higher clans. Okay, now it is coming that how Lord Krishna and his cowherd boyfriends and Balaram are enjoying this rainy season. I will just read the next verse and then we can conclude. Dhenavamandagaminya udobharena bhuyasha yayur bhagavata puta drutam prityasnuta stamaha. The cows had to move slowly because of the weighty milk bags, but they quickly ran to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as soon as he called them. Their affection for him causing their udders to become wet. Like, they are also feeling kind of like affection, motherly affection for Krishna. So I think we can stop here, that how Krishna actually, Krishna, Balaram, and all the cowherd boys were enjoying the beauty of the rainy season in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So if anybody has any comment, question, chastisement, rectification, please go ahead. Thank you. Customer 20. Okay. Maybe I will read Mataji verse number 26 and 27 also, because rainy season is going till, I think, yeah, let's read till 28. Let's read the translation. I will read the translation because it's beautiful, actually, explanation. The Lord saw the joyful aboriginal girls of the forest, the trees dripping sweet sap, and the mountain waterfalls, whose resounding indicated that there were caves nearby. Means like when mountains are, waterfalls are there, you can expect that some hollow mountain, like caves are there. Okay, go next, Mataji, please. When it rained, the Lord would sometimes enter a cave or the hollow of a tree to play and eat roots and fruits. So Prabhupada, Sanatana Goswami was explaining actually that in rainy season, there are different kinds of bulbs and roots are palatable and tender for eating. So Krishna was enjoying that natural, bhoga in Vrindavan Dham while doing the cow pasturing of the cows. And then go to the next one, Mataji. Lord Krishna would take his meal of boiled rice and yogurt sent from home. In the company of Lord Sankarsana and the cowherd boys who regularly ate with him, they would all sit down to eat on a large stone near water. We actually see this explanation in Brahma Vimahan Lila, that how Lord Krishna sits and how all the cowherd boys sits around him, and he is just like the whole of the lotus. And everybody thinks actually Lord Krishna is looking at me. And that same explanation is there also when Lord Brahma actually started his prayer to Lord Krishna after that, the abduction of the cows and the cowherd boys. And there he was mentioning this term also, that Nomidate Abrabapuse Taridamboraya Gunja Vatamse Paripichila Samukhaya Banasraja Kavalavatra Vishamavenu Lakmashriamidu Kavalavatra. So he was having yoga rice in his hand. So that means Krishna's regular meal is kind of rice and yogurt, because it is also mentioned in that verse also. Okay, maybe we'll read next one also. Yeah, Lord Krishna was the contented bulls, calves, and cows sitting on the green grass and grazing with closed eyes. And he saw that the cows were tired from the burden of their heavy milk bags. Thus, observing the beauty and opulence of Vrindavana's rainy season, a perennial source of great happiness, the Lord offered all respect to that season, which was expanded from his own internal potency. Yeah, so he was giving a special mercy to that season personified. Yeah, now next verse is actually the arrival of autumnal season. So I think we are good. Yeah. This is the rainy season explanation. So next verse onwards is autumnal season explanation. So I think we covered our syllabus. Yeah. Now, if anybody has any comment or question or anything or any feedback or any realization, if you want to connect with any of the scripture, that is also fine. Hare Krishna. Go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, sometimes I struggle with one thought. Why did Krishna create all of this? Is it for his own enjoyment? Like Krishna, being the all-knowing and almighty, he knew that these souls, his own created souls, are going to, like hurt other people or cheat or, do this. So, sometimes I struggle trying to understand the whole cycle, right? It came from Krishna. These are all Krishna's soul, and people hurt people and animals and nature, and then now the whole idea is go back. So what was the whole point of making all of this?
Excellent, Mataji. So if you know that ISB, what ISB means, ISB, there is a ISKCON Silicon Valley is there, but there is another meaning, right? Individual, spontaneous, and voluntary, right? This thing, individual, like everybody is every living entity is individual. Spontaneous means like it's natural, it's coming from your heart, or you are doing it not for any obligation, just spontaneously you're doing. Voluntary, you're not getting any material benefit for it, you're just doing it because you wanted to do it, you have your own volition for doing it. So this is what actually love is defined as. It should be individual, you have an individual relationship with Krishna, that is spontaneous, and that's voluntary. You have chosen to love Krishna voluntarily. Nobody actually said, hey, you have to love Krishna. No, it's not there. There are like instances where devotees actually pushed someone to love Krishna. They said, no, I have actually sold myself to Lord Ram. I cannot love Krishna. It's like they are same personality, but the mood is different. However, so your point, Mataji, Krishna enjoys, Krishna has a very unique relationship with each and every living entity. And when we are established in that relationship with Krishna, the enjoyment, the bliss we experience, even Krishna won't be experiencing that bliss. That's why if you read actually Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is very esoteric literature, it actually explains that Supreme Lord doesn't experience the bliss what is experienced by the devotees in Brajadham, Vrindavana. He cannot experience that because he is the Vishaya Vigraha, the subject, and the devotees are the Ashraya Vigraha, the object of love. So that's why what happens, if we can reestablish our relationship, or we establish the relationship with Krishna, we will be experiencing something which cannot be compared to any material experience in this world. Now your question is, one part of your question is why he created it. Why he created it. Now that, the creation of the jivas, it is said that in Bhagavad Gita explicitly Krishna says 2:12, Nat evahang jatu nasyam natyam neme janadhipa na chevana bhavishwami sarvavayamata param. There was no time when you, me, and these kings were not there, and there will be no time in the future their existence will be ceased. So we cannot say actually where we are created. That's why it is called, the term is used anadi. There is no adi, no beginning. We are ever existing. Now, if you can go, that I cannot answer, how we will define anadi, but there is another explanation of anadi can be also given in the Shastra, that Lord Brahma's lifetime is so big, 4.3 trillion or something like, years. Yeah. It's so big that it also can be considered as an immortal lifespan. But if you compare it with the breathing of Karanarnavashaya Vishnu, that is one breath in, one breath out, and one breath in. That is the time span of Lord Brahma. So in that context, it's very a small time, but in our context, it's actually infinite. So that in that way, we are also infinitely, existing. And Krishna created, or if you say that, Krishna created us to enjoy with us. However, In the beginning of the creation, it is also explained in Jaiva Dharma, one of the book written by our Acharya Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We are given a choice to look towards Krishna or look towards the material nature. Means like we wanted to enjoy, whether we wanted to enjoy individually, separate from Krishna, or we wanted to enjoy with Krishna by serving him. We chose, those who actually are conditioned in this material world, we chose to enjoy individually. That's why we are suffering. As soon as somebody moves towards Krishna, their all sufferings will be extinguished. That's why I'll give you an example, a real example. This was actually spoken by one of my Shiksha Gurus. He actually kind of my initial, spiritual life Shiksha Guru. So he was giving an example. He met he heard of, he didn't meet personally that person. He heard of a Babaji, very advanced devotee in Vrindavan, about a Babaji who was living in Vrindavan. He was doing his sadhana in Vrindavan, and he was having some skin disease. And in skin disease, there were a lot of worms, and those worms would bite him sometimes. And this is like unbearable pain. So sometimes people used to see him crying. Sometimes people used to see him laughing. So when he was laughing, people used to think, oh, now Baba's, worms are not actually biting him. And when he used to cry, people used to think, no. Now Baba is feeling very pain. Oh, Baba, how are you? Can help you? Please tell us. Then Baba actually explained one day. Actually, he revealed to someone that he cried when there was no worm biting him, because he was telling, oh Krishna, you are not merciful unto me. My sins accumulated through so many lifetimes are not getting burned out. That's why you are not giving me punishment enough. But when he was getting beaten by the worms, he was actually exclaiming, oh Krishna, you are so merciful, you are so happy with me that you wanted to deliver me in this lifetime only. So this is the mood of a devotee. The external situation can actually obstruct that internal happiness. So you can experience that if you actually put your energy, attention towards Krishna, then you will also experience the same thing. It's not impersonal thing, it's the personal thing. When you establish that relationship with Krishna, immediately you will start experiencing that. And that's why Krishna has created you, so that you can experience the highest thing, which is love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and give it to others also. That Bhaja Dhatu, it was explained by Radhika Raman Prabhu in his speech to the newly initiates, our what is his name, Shastra Sar Prada Prabhu, that Bhaja means to be compassionate to others. So when you get something like that and you become compassionate and distribute to others, the bliss you will experience, then the confusion you're having, why Krishna has created me, why I'm going through this life, birth, old age and death and disease, they'll evaporate in a second. Yeah, that's how the devotees are taking this path so seriously. Like some devotees, I'm not that one of them, but there are devotees in our communities who are so sincere and following the injunctions so nicely. Did I make sense, Mataji, what I spoke? I don't know. I just gave my
No, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, this was a thought that was, sometimes I meditate on, that, the whole purpose of like originating and then like completing a circle of cycles. So thank you for your reflections and your examples and explanation.
Yeah. So Krishna created us to, like if you consider about the material world is also ek pad vibhuti of the Supreme Lord. It's like one part of Krishna's energy is material energy. Three times the material energy is the spiritual energy. So the material world is actually helpful for us to reestablish the connection with the Supreme Lord, and then in the spiritual world we can serve him eternally. So that's the goal. Okay, so any other question, any other comment?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is Ashramadam. I just wanted to mention one thing, that in the beginning, when we were trying to describe the rainy season, there was talk about austerity, there was talk about, material, covered by material modes. There was talk about, the, what is that called? On doing, austerity and other things, the devotees trying to do their chanting and all that, right? And the moment a pure soul entered the scene, that analogy came, and then the normal people, they felt bliss. And then when Krishna came into the scene, there was no talk of all those material modes. There was only enjoyment, right? You see that there was no talk of, none of the analogies describe anything about austerity, anything about covered by material modes. It's just Krishna is enjoying, and the cows looking at Krishna, and their udders are filled with milk because of the love. It's just love and Krishna and nothing else. In that analogy, it is completely like pure prema flowing there. I was just trying to find that pattern from the beginning to end.
Wow, beautiful observation. It shows that how deep your realization is. Actually, you're right. I did not notice it even. That as soon as Krishna came, it's all about enjoyment, spiritual enjoyment
and love. That's it.
Very beautiful. Yes. So yeah, that's our goal. To satisfy Krishna with our whatever service we are doing. Yeah. Thank you, Baba. Anyone else has anything to share? We are already over time, but if you have some comment or something to share, please go ahead.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
one thing I would love to say, that in spite of a weak day, your enthusiasm and energy is very addictive. So thank you for that, and thank you for taking out the time.
Thank you. I think I am very excited today because I did not get enough preparation time. Today, that's why I'm a little nervous to speak also, because ISV devotees are very highly qualified devotees. I see Ashay Mother Prabhu, Vinugita Mataji, Meera Mataji, Mayank Prabhu, they are also in the call. So they are very advanced devotees. So yeah, so speak in front of them, it's not easy, but yeah, that's why I'm more excited. Yeah, thank you for noticing because of the nervousness. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for a very wonderful class. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I'll just stop with maybe a few Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then we can conclude our session today. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachato Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Shitanath Premanande Hari Hari Bol Srimad Bhagavad Ji Mahapuran ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Samasta Gaur Bhakta Vrindo ki jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrindo ki jai Nitai Gaur Shitanath Premanande Hari Hari Bol. I want to actually ask for forgiveness to all the devotees who joined today if I have spoken something which is not in accordance with the teachings of our acharyas previous and present. Please forgive me because I don't have much realization. I need your blessings and prayers. Please keep your blessings upon me. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Samasta Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
कोलादिप प्राण प्रभु की जय।
His Grace Kolodwip Pran Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hari
Thank you,
Bol.
Prabhuji.